The girl's hand is caught. Mary Harper, 7 years old, feels the spinning frame seize her fingers. The machinery does not stop. The belt continues its rotation. 300 revolutions per minute. Her scream disappears into the thunder of 1,000 spindles. Sarah Wright, the overlooker, runs toward her. 23 steps across the spinning room floor. The other children continue working. They have learned not to look. Looking means falling behind. Falling behind means punishment. It is 2:17 in the afternoon, August 9th, 1842, Manchester, Ashworth's cotton mill. 4th floor, spinning room number 3. The temperature is 97 degrees Fahrenheit. The air is white with cotton dust. The windows are nailed shut to maintain humidity for the thread. Mary's mother works 2 floors below in the weaving shed. Her father died 3 months ago, crushed between carding machines at a different mill. Her brother William, 9 years old, operates a power loom on the 2nd floor. Her sister Emma, 5 years old, crawls beneath the spinning frames collecting fallen cotton. If Mary loses her hand, the family loses her wage. 4 pence per day, 24 pence per week. Without it, they cannot pay rent on their cellar room. They cannot buy bread. They will be evicted into the Manchester streets where cholera killed 600 people last month alone. Sarah reaches Mary. She grabs the frame's drive belt, burns her palm, stopping the machine. The sudden silence is more terrible than the noise. Mary's fingers are still attached, crushed, bleeding, but attached. Sarah's decision comes in 3 seconds. Send Mary to the factory surgeon, lose 2 hours of production from this frame, or bind the injury here, keep the girl working, meet the day's quota. The mill owner, Thomas Ashworth, is making his afternoon inspection. He stands at the far end of the room, watching, calculating, making notes in his leather-bound ledger. This is not where Mary's day began. The bell rings at 4 in the morning. Mary wakes in darkness. The sound comes from St. Peter's Church, 12 streets away. It penetrates the cellar walls of the tenement on Angel Meadow, the same bell that will ring again at 5:30, the final warning before the mill gates close. She lies on a straw mattress. It is damp. Everything in the cellar is damp. 3 families share this space. 18 people. The rent is 2 shillings per week, paid every Saturday or face immediate eviction. Her mother, Anne Harper, is already awake, moving in the darkness, lighting the single tallow candle they allow themselves each morning. The candle costs 1 penny. It must last 3 days. Mary sits up. Her back protests. Yesterday she stood for 13 hours and 45 minutes, the standard shift at Ashworth's mill, the only breaks. 15 minutes for breakfast, 30 minutes for lunch. No chairs provided. Her hands ache. The constant motion of piecing together broken threads has worn her fingertips raw. She examined them last night by candlelight. The skin is hardened, cracked, perpetually stained with cotton fibres. She is 7 years old. Her hands look ancient. Anne brings her the breakfast. A piece of oatcake, hard as leather, a cup of water. No tea, tea costs too much. No milk, milk is for families who earn more than 9 shillings per week. The Harpers earn 7 shillings and 3 pence between the 4 of them. Mary eats slowly. The oatcake must last until the breakfast break at 7. She has learned hunger is easier to manage in small, constant waves than in one overwhelming crash. William wakes next. He says nothing. Pulls on his shirt, the only shirt he owns. It has not been washed in 3 weeks. Water costs money. Soap costs money. Time costs production. Emma does not wake. Anne must shake her. The child is 5 years old but looks 3. Malnutrition has stunted her growth. She began working at the mill 2 months ago. The law says children under 9 should attend school 2 hours per day. The law is not enforced. The factory inspector for Manchester oversees 107 mills with a staff of 2 men. Anne speaks in whispers. The other families are still sleeping, those who work the day shift at different mills, those who work the night shift and returned home at 4 this morning, those who have no work at all and lie in darkness waiting for dawn. Mary pulls on her dress. It is grey, shapeless, reaching to her ankles. It was once her mother's. It has been cut down twice. It will be cut down again for Emma in 2 years if Emma survives that long. No breakfast for Anne. The adults eat once per day dinner at 7 in the evening. Children eat twice because growing bodies require it. though there is little growing happening in Angel Meadow. The average height of a factory child in Manchester is 4 inches shorter than a child from the countryside. Anne braids Mary's hair tight against her skull. Loose hair means danger. Last month, a girl at Murray's Mill had her scalp torn off when her hair caught in the spinning frame. She was 10 years old. She died 3 days later from infection. The family prepares to leave. No washing, the communal pump is 6 streets away. No privy, they will use the factory facilities. No goodbyes, speech wastes energy better saved for work. Anne checks the hidden space beneath the floorboard. Inside, 3 shillings and 8 pence. Their savings. Their only protection against disaster. If someone falls ill, they have medicine money. If someone dies, they have burial money. If someone is injured beyond working, they have nothing. This money will last perhaps 6 weeks before eviction and starvation. Mary watches her mother's face in the candlelight. Anne is 29 years old. She looks 50. Her cough has worsened this week, a deep, wet sound that brings up blood-tinged phlegm. Cotton dust pneumonia, the workers call it. Brown lung. It killed Mary's father's sister. It killed 3 women on their street last winter. The candle is blown out. They step into the cellar corridor. Other families are emerging shadows, moving through shadows. No one speaks. Speaking uses breath better saved for the machines. They climb the stone steps to street level. The air outside is not fresh. It is thick with coal smoke from 10,000 chimneys, but it is better than the cellar's trapped dampness. 4:27 in the morning. 63 minutes until the mill gates close. Angel Meadow is stirring. The street, if it can be called a street, is unpaved mud mixed with human waste. Manchester has no sewer system in the working districts. The privies overflow into open gutters. During rain, these gutters flood into the cellars. During summer, they bake into crusted filth. Mary walks between her mother and William. Emma clutches Anne's skirt. The darkness is not complete. Gas lamps burn at major intersections, installed by the city to reduce crime. They cast pools of yellow light that make the shadows between them deeper. Other workers flow from the tenements, a human river moving toward the mills. Most are women and children. The men work in the mines, on the docks, in construction. Mill work pays less, but it is steady. In bad times, steady trumps higher wages. They pass the corner where the prostitutes gather. 3 women, teenagers really, their painted faces garish in the lamplight. This is the other option for working-class girls in Manchester, factory work or street work. Mary's mother grips her hand tighter whenever they pass this corner. A dead horse lies in the gutter on Miller Street. It has been there for 5 days. The city will remove it eventually when disease risk outweighs the cost of removal. Children have carved chunks from its hindquarters. Meat is meat when you are hungry enough. The Harpers turn onto Great Ancoat Street. The mills rise before them, massive brick structures, 5 and 6 stories tall, blocking out the dawn sky. Ashworth's mill is the 4th largest in Manchester. It employs 643 people. 419 are under 18 years old. The mill's chimney stack towers 200 feet high. Black smoke pours from its mouth, coal feeding the steam engine that powers every machine inside. The engine is rated at 120 horsepower. It runs 23 hours per day, 1 hour for maintenance. Otherwise, continuous operation. The smell reaches them from 3 streets away. Hot oil, cotton dust, human sweat, coal smoke. Something else underneath, something organic and rotting that comes from 600 people working in unventilated spaces. They join the crowd at the mill gates. The gates open at 5. Entry is strictly controlled. Thomas Ashworth himself stands at the entrance, watch in hand, ledger in arm. He records every arrival. Those who arrive after 5:30 pay a fine 2 pence deducted from their weekly wage. Those who arrive after 6 are locked out, lose an entire day's pay. This system ensures punctuality. It also ensures that workers arrive exhausted from running through the pre-dawn streets, too breathless to complain about conditions. Mary sees her friend Rebecca in the crowd, 8 years old. Rebecca works the same spinning frame as Mary. They are picers, the lowest position in the mill hierarchy. Their job is to walk back and forth along the spinning frame, watching for broken threads, piecing them back together with quick-fingered knots. 12 to 14 miles of walking per day, the Parliamentary investigators measured. In a space 18 inches wide between moving machinery, Rebecca's face is grey. She has the cough. Everyone has the cough eventually. The cotton dust fills lungs like snowfall, accumulating year after year, until breathing becomes impossible. The gates open. The crowd surges forward. Not running, running is forbidden, but moving with desperate purpose. Ashworth's watch is law. His ledger is judgment. Anne shows the gatekeeper their tokens, metal discs stamped with employee numbers. 4 discs for 4 Harpers. If they lose these tokens, they lose their positions. The tokens are checked at entry, checked at exit, checked against the production logs. The system is designed for maximum control. They pass through. The mill yard is cobblestone, slick with morning dew and oil runoff from the machines. A group of men load raw cotton bales from carts, American cotton, shipped through Liverpool, transported by canal to Manchester. Each bale weighs 400 pounds. The men work in silence, their movements mechanical. They are paid by the bale. Speech slows production. The engine room door stands open. Mary glimpses the massive steam engine inside, gleaming brass pistons, spinning flywheels, the coal furnace glowing like an open mouth. 3 men work the engine constantly, the most skilled workers in the mill. The best paid? 7 shillings per week each. If the engine stops, everything stops. If everything stops, no one gets paid. They enter through the workers' entrance, a narrow door, deliberately small. Another control mechanism. In case of fire, this door becomes a bottleneck. Last year, a mill in Colne burned. 43 people died, most crushed in the doorway trying to escape. Inside, the noise begins. Not the full roar, yet the machines are still warming, but the preliminary thunder. The building itself seems to vibrate. The floor trembles beneath Mary's feet. It is 5:12 in the morning, 18 minutes until their shift officially begins. But they must be at their stations, ready to work, when the bell rings at 5:30. They climb the stairs, Mary to the 4th floor, William to the 2nd, Emma to the 3rd, Anne to the 1st. The family disperses. They will not see each other until the lunch break at noon if there is time for seeing, if the overlookers permit it. Mary reaches the spinning room. The heat hits her like a physical wall. The windows are sealed shut to maintain humidity. Dry air breaks the thread. The temperature will reach 100 degrees Fahrenheit by afternoon. Workers will faint. Some will die. Last summer, 17 people died from heat stroke in Manchester's mills. She walks to her frame number 37. Sarah Wright, the overlooker, is already there. Sarah is 23 years old. She carries a leather strap. Her job is to ensure production quotas are met. She is paid 8 shillings per week, 1 shilling more than Anne, because she has proven her willingness to use the strap. Mary has been hit 6 times this month. Once for working too slowly, 3 times for breaking thread through clumsy piecing, twice for glancing toward the window during work hours. Each strike leaves a welt. The welts fade. The fear does not. The bell rings at 5:30. 643 people begin working simultaneously. The machinery roars to life. The spinning frames accelerate to full speed. The noise becomes a physical presence, a crushing weight of sound that makes thought impossible. Mary begins walking her frame, back and forth, watching, waiting for thread breaks. Her hands move automatically. Piece, knot, move, piece, knot, move. The rhythm is hypnotic. The rhythm is survival. It is 5:32 in the morning. She has 12 hours and 58 minutes remaining in her shift. The spinning room contains 48 frames. Each frame is operated by 2 piecers and 1 spinner. The spinner, always an adult, usually a man, controls the frame's speed and thread tension. The piecers, always children, walk the frame's length, maintaining thread quality. Mary's spinner is Robert Shaw, 41 years old, missing 3 fingers on his left hand from a carding machine accident 20 years ago. He was Mary's age when he lost them. He does not speak to the children unless absolutely necessary. Speech is dangerous. It suggests the possibility of connection, and connection means pain when children die or disappear. By 6:15, Mary's hands are cramping. The repetitive motion reach, twist, knot, release creates a specific kind of pain that radiates from fingertips to shoulders. There is no relief, no stretching allowed, no pause permitted. Rebecca, on the adjacent frame, catches Mary's eye. She mouths something. Mary cannot hear. The machinery drowns all speech. But she understands. Rebecca is pointing to their overlooker, Sarah, who has moved to the far end of the room. This is their only chance. Mary slows her pace slightly. Not much. Sarah checks production counts every 30 minutes, but enough to give her hands 15 seconds of reduced strain. Rebecca does the same. They have learned to steal these micro breaks when oversight lapses. The relief is immense. 15 seconds of slightly slower knotting. 15 seconds where the pain lessens from unbearable to merely terrible. Sarah turns. She is walking back toward them. Her hand touches the leather strap at her belt. Mary's pace instantly increases. Rebecca's does the same. But Sarah has noticed she has the gift of observation that makes effective overseers, the ability to detect the slightest deviation from maximum productivity. Sarah approaches frame 37. She stands beside Mary, says nothing, simply watches. Her presence is the message. Work faster, work harder, work until your body breaks, and then work more. Mary's hands blur. The thread breaks. She pieces it. Another break. She pieces again. The cotton dust makes her eyes water. The heat makes her dizzy. But she does not slow, cannot slow, not with Sarah watching. At 7 o'clock, the breakfast bell rings. 15 minutes. The machinery stops. The sudden silence is disorienting. Mary's ears ring with phantom noise. The workers shuffle toward the eating area, a space on the first floor with rough wooden tables, no chairs. Mary retrieves her breakfast from her pocket. The half piece of oatcake she saved. It is warm from body heat, softened with sweat. She eats it in 4 bites, drinks water from the communal bucket. The water tastes of metal and chemicals. It comes from the well behind the mill, which is contaminated by the dye works upstream. She sees Emma briefly. Her sister is crying silently, a skill all factory children learn. Emma's dress is torn at the shoulder. She crawled too close to a machine's belt drive. She is lucky it only tore fabric. Anne appears. She looks at Emma's torn dress with the blank expression that means internal calculation. The dress can be repaired, but it requires thread and needle. Thread costs money. The dress must last until Emma grows another inch. Then it passes to the next child in line. There is always a next child needing clothes. William does not appear. Mary later learns he used his breakfast break to sleep standing against a wall, eyes closed, stealing 5 minutes of unconsciousness. Many workers do this. The choice between food and rest. Both are needed. Both are insufficient. The bell rings at 7:15. Back to the machines. The noise resumes. Mary's small window of relief closes. The morning stretches ahead 5 hours until lunch. 5 hours of identical motions. 5 hours where time becomes meaningless, measured only in completed piecing cycles. By 8:30, the first accident occurs. A boy named Thomas, 6 years old, crawls beneath his frame to collect fallen cotton. The standard practice for the smallest children. But Thomas is exhausted. He has been working since 5:30 on 2 hours of sleep. He moves too slowly, misjudges the clearance. The frame's spindle catches his shirt, pulls him upward into the machinery. His scream cuts through even the mechanical roar. Workers nearby freeze. The overlooker runs toward the frame. But Robert Shaw, Thomas's spinner, has already reached the drive belt. He seizes it with his mutilated hand, burns his palm, stops the machine. Thomas hangs suspended in the spindles. His shirt is wound tight. His face is purple. He is strangling. Robert cuts him free with his pocket knife. The boy falls to the floor, gasping, alive. Sarah, the overlooker, examines him. Bruising on the neck, a dislocated shoulder, but breathing, conscious. She makes her decision. She binds his shoulder with cotton strips, gives him 5 minutes to recover, then sends him back to work. This is not cruelty, not exactly. This is economics. Thomas's family is paid by production. If he goes home, his mother loses earnings. If his mother loses earnings, his siblings eat less. The choice is work injured or starve healthy. There is no good option. Mary watches Thomas return to his frame. He is crying. His shoulder hangs at an odd angle, but he resumes crawling beneath the machinery. He has learned what all factory children learn. Pain is temporary. Hunger is worse. By 10 o'clock, Mary has walked 3.7 miles back and forth along her frame. Her feet throb, her legs ache, but these are background sensations she has learned to compartmentalize physical distress. The human body is remarkably adaptable. At 11, disaster strikes frame 37. Production loss means punishment. Robert Shaw stops the machine. He says nothing. His silence is more terrible than anger. He works for 30 minutes untangling the thread. 30 minutes when frame 37 produces nothing. 30 minutes that will appear in the production logs. Sarah notices. She walks over, examines the tangled thread, looks at Mary. Mary stands perfectly still, waiting. The strap comes out. 3 strikes across Mary's shoulders, hard enough to leave welts, not hard enough to break skin. Broken skin risks, infection risks, lost work days. The punishment is calibrated for maximum pain with minimum medical consequence. Mary does not cry. She learned years ago that crying increases punishment. Show weakness, receive more weakness. This is the logic of the mill. Sarah puts away the strap. Production quota, she says. The only words she speaks. The frame's quota for today is 900 yards of spun thread. They are currently at 612. Missing quota means reduced wages. Reduced wages mean hunger. Mary resumes work. Her shoulders burn, but her hands continue their motion. Peace, not move. Peace, not move. The rhythm continues. The rhythm is everything. At 11:45, Mary feels something warm on her upper lip. She touches it. Blood. Her nose is bleeding, a common occurrence in the spinning room. The cotton dust irritates nasal passages. The dry heat causes spontaneous bleeding. She cannot stop working to address it. She tilts her head back slightly, continues piecing. Blood runs down her throat. She swallows it. The taste is copper and dust. The lunch bell rings at noon. 30 minutes. The machinery stops. Mary staggers toward the lunch area. Her vision swims. The heat and blood loss have made her light-headed. But she must eat, must drink, must use these 30 minutes to preserve enough strength for the afternoon shift. The lunch area is chaos. 600 people trying to eat simultaneously in a space designed for 200. Mary finds a corner, sits on the floor. Her legs fold beneath her. The relief of sitting is almost painful. Her lunch. Bread. 1 slice. Given to her by Anne this morning. The bread is made from flour mixed with sawdust, a common practice among Manchester bakers to stretch their inventory. It has minimal nutritional value but provides the sensation of fullness. Mary eats slowly, makes the bread last. Around her, workers devour their food with desperate hunger. A woman nearby eats potato peelings. A man chews raw turnip. Children share crusts of bread so hard they must be soaked in water to be edible. Anne finds her, sits beside her daughter, says nothing. They have learned that silence preserves energy. But Anne's presence is comfort. They sit together, 2 bodies among 600, 2 survivors in a system designed to consume them. Anne's cough worsens. She covers her mouth with her hand. When she pulls it away, there is blood on her palm. She wipes it on her dress, says nothing. What is there to say? The cough will progress. The lung damage will worsen. She will die in perhaps 5 years, perhaps 10. Cotton dust pneumonia has no cure. Anne takes the penny, hides it in the pocket sewn inside her dress. Later, this penny will buy medicine for Emma when fever strikes. It will mean the difference between survival and death. But this afternoon, it is simply potential, a small bulwark against catastrophe. William arrives last. His face is grey. He sits heavily beside Mary. At 9 years old, he operates a power loom. The loom's shuttle flies back and forth at tremendous speed. If the thread breaks, he must stop the shuttle, rethread, restart, all while standing inches from mechanisms that could crush his skull. He shows Mary his hand. His index finger is split open along the nail. The shuttle caught it during rethread. The wound is deep. It needs stitching. It will not receive stitching. William will wrap it in cloth and return to work. The wound will become infected. The infection will either resolve or spread. If it spreads to the bone, he will lose the finger. If he loses the finger, he will continue working. Many workers have fewer than 10 fingers. Anne examines William's injury, makes her decision. She tears a strip from her own underskirt, binds his finger tight. The binding will slow the bleeding. It will not prevent infection, but it is what they have. They sit together, 4 Harpers, surviving another day. Around them, the lunch area echoes with the sounds of exhaustion, coughing, groaning. The shuffle of bodies too tired to move efficiently. No one speaks loudly. Speech requires energy. Energy is for work. At 12:25, A girl collapses. 10 years old. She simply crumples where she stands. Her body has reached its limit. 2 overseers carry her outside. They place her in the shade, give her water. Wait 15 minutes. If she recovers, she returns to work. If she does not recover, her family is notified. Her position is filled immediately. There are always children waiting for positions, waiting for any income, no matter how small. The girl recovers. She returns to work at 12:41. She will collapse again in 3 weeks. The third collapse will be permanent. At 12:28, a bell rings. Not the work bell, a different tone. The workers recognize it immediately. It is the accident bell. Someone has been seriously injured. The room goes silent. Everyone knows the protocol. Serious injuries mean factory inspection. Factory inspection means work stoppage. Work stoppage means lost wages. The injury itself is less concerning than its economic consequences. A man rushes through the lunch area. "Carding room," he gasps. Hand caught in the machine. They are taking it off now. The workers resume eating. The emergency does not involve them. They have 22 minutes remaining. 22 minutes to eat, rest, and prepare for 6 more hours of labour, all while politicians praise the factory system as progress.